Hello, I'm Otto and welcome to episode 64 of my Factorio Space Age Guide. So in the last episode, we set up some fusion power blueprints. We set up 4 of them, one of which we will be using on this planet, and some of which we will maybe get around to. We're like pretty far into this, and we are very close to beating the game, so I don't know how much more we're going to end up doing, as this guide is largely focused on just helping you beat the game. I will have more content coming out, don't worry, outside of this guide. Anyways, so before we even start doing anything with fusion, we need to kind of make an area to be able to place it. So we're going to place it up here, just kind of tucked away out of the way. We're going to need some heat to come through. And this is where our blueprint is going to be. I could center it in, you know what, I'm not too concerned with that. Okay, so that's going to be there. Now we obviously need to make some fusion reactors. So since both, oh, come on. Alright guys, let's go. You can do it. Come on, one more. Oh. There. Okay. So, since the fusion reactor and the fusion generator both need the same ingredients, they need tungsten plate, they need superconductors, they need quantum processors, and the other one needs tungsten plate, superconductors, and quantum processors. Since they are using these same ingredients, we are just going to give them one requester chest. And we're just going to beef up these a little bit. So then we need somewhere for these to go so that the... No. There. We just need somewhere for these to go. And we need to get some heat in here. Okay, and we can just let that go. So, while we're waiting on the bots to get all of that going, because we kind of need this power. No. I need my battery. We kind of need this power to, like, start to set up some other things. So, while we're waiting for the bots to do all that and the machines to do all that, we are going to make an upcycler. We're going to make a cryogenic plant upcycler. And we are going to start off with some recyclers. So the one on the left, I definitely want to have the arrow on the right. The reason why is so that we can make sure that we have everything coming onto one side of the belt. And then we are obviously going to start with our cryogenic plant. So I'm going to start with something that has a liquid. Now we're not going to set this up with this. We're going to do something a little different that I kind of didn't know about. But I'm purely just setting this up like this so that I know where to put the pipes. We know that it needs to be right in the middle. That is good. So I was completely unaware that in the interface, they now have an option to show parameters in selection lists. So what that means is that we can now use parameters as our options, and we can even set these parameters in quality. So we're going to be setting it up like this and going from there. So we need some heat. And this is actually going to be 1 over, so that I can get some heat through here too. I know that I'm also going to need some more inserters, so just grab that real quick. Okay, so since we're setting this up with parameters, and this is going to be quite a bit different. I mean, not too different. Like, there's a couple of things that I've kind of, I've worked out a lot of the kinks on these upcyclers. Let's just put it that way. And for the other half, so unfortunately, one of these is going to be creating faster than the other. Am I going to have to rearrange these? I am. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to copy this and paste in where we will need. Actually, I can go ahead and set these up. Perfect. There, now I know that all of those will be lined up. That was 3 spaces apart. Perfect. Okay, so the initial one needed to be 4 spaces apart because we were going to have a pipe running right through here, heated pipes. Because of the needing the heat, we are going to have a lot more underground pipes. Sorry, underground belts. So that is going to look something like this. And then we are going to have our requester chest here with basically as many inserters as we can get to try to help prevent this from backing up. Now, this is like completely clog proof. Like, my upcycler blueprints don't stop. They might stall, but they don't ever stop. They don't get clogged up. They don't get jammed. This is a completely jam-free build. And let's see, this needed to be 1 over. So as we are upcycling, which we are gonna have, do I have quality modules here? I don't know if I do actually. I do not. Let's get some of those in. Wait. You don't have any either. I bet it's because we have too many epics. Okay, so I'm gonna get him to request in 100, and we're gonna request in 100 here. Okay, back to the build. I'm just gonna queue those up before I forget. All right, so we need to get heat, obviously, into a lot of these. Problem solved. And we're going to be using a lot more long hand inserters. So the long hand inserters are going to be here, which means our belt is going to run through here. And this line will, for the most part, stay intact. There will be sections where we will be peeling it off. And because of that, we definitely need lines that are connecting all the way through. Most of like the top bar is going to be kind of like our permanent bar. And then the rest of this will just kind of, be heated up from this top section. We can have this bottom section go and touch heat as well. Not a big deal. Okay, so long hand inserter. We need this guy down here. We're going to put him right on the corner. And this is going to be filtered for normal quality, because we're going to have one up here filtered for equal to or greater than uncommon. So all of the uncommon will be able to go on the top row. And And since we are putting all of the intermediates, all of the ingredients on the bottom, the top row is going to be free to continue on. So the splitter is then going to catch on the right hand side whatever the quality item is. And then if it is one of these that is upcycled, it will be caught in the requester chest, and then the requester chest will send it back onto this line, and our main collection will actually be on this line with buffer chests. So excuse me. And then we're going to have regular inserters here. And a lot of this will be connected together. And we're going to have limits set so that some of this doesn't, like, you know, fill in too much. We're also going to be requesting in whatever the item is for the corresponding machines above it. So this is going to be requesting in parameter 0, normal quality. And we're going to use 100 as a stack size. The reason why we're going to do that is just to make the math easier. So we're requesting 100 of the normal and the, let's see, copy this and paste this one. Nope, I do not want to do that because we are going to have, most of these are going to be on the right-hand side of the belt. We are going to be using a regular inserter like this anytime we have to put something onto the belt. Which is going to be this machine, this machine, this machine, and this one, and not the one over here. This one is going to be always direct feeding into the machine, and this one doesn't have to put anything back on the recycle line. Okay, so now we need to get some power in here. So power should be decently easy. I mean, we don't have a lot of room in here, so we're pretty much just going to be putting power, slapping it down wherever we can, just to make sure that everything gets covered. This guy needs... Let me go ahead and get all of the pipes in because those are kind of an important part of this. And this will not be collecting anything because everything that it needs to collect is going to come from this side over here. And unfortunately, it is going to be crafting a bit slower because it has to use longhand inserters. It is what it is. It is not a big deal. And these need power. How close can I get to matching? Oh, something like that. This actually does not need to be this far over. We're gonna pull this back. Yeah, because there's nothing that has to happen in between here. Okay, so and the rest of this will be pretty much the same. So we're going to try to fill this out and then copy all of this and then paste it over, and then we will adjust all the numbers after. So this, we're going to have that be here. It needs to be, so it needs to be basically not here. We cannot have this go directly into the underground. We need this to go on open belt, so all of these will be placed pretty much starting with one slot in front of where the requester chest is, like this. And this will need Let's see. So this needs to be filtered for rare. It doesn't have to be filtered for parameter 0. And this one needs to be filtered for greater than or equal to rare. Sorry, this is uncommon. This one appears rare. Uh-oh. Oh, fine. We'll just leave it. Okay, so do I want to do it that way with the rest of them? No, I can't because these need to come out. I think that is everything here. We still need power. Maybe if I did it like that, have these lined up better. That seems like it would work. So this is going to be filtered for uncommon on the right-hand side. We're going to have to definitely manually adjust some of this, but that's okay. I just want to make sure that we get all of this right first. Okay, so I'm going to copy all of that, and I'm going to force paste, and we're going to have to remove some stuff for this one, but we're going to go ahead and... No, we're not. We're going to do that one separate. Okay, so this is going to be rare 0. This one's going to be epic 0. So up here we need to filter for greater than or equal to epic, and this is going to be bringing in rare materials. And yeah, we're pretty much just going to go through and one up all of this like so. Oh, oh man, we did not set up, hold on. We didn't set this one up to request in the uncommon, and we did not set up any of this. No! Okay, so we can just redo it all. Now, thankfully, we're using parameters, so we can just line them up with 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And this is going to make it a little bit easier in some ways and harder in other ways. And we're going to do 5 ingredients because, I mean, you never know. Like, I don't know if any of these... you know what, whatever. It's just easier to set it up for 5. Why not? And then we are going to have the parameter 0. We're going to request in 0 and have up to 20 stacks. So we've already determined that we're going to be using 100 as a stack size. So that means 2,000 for a stack. And the reason why we're doing this, as we've done in previous upcyclers, is as these start upcycling, they will bring in and put them into these requester chests. The requester chest is kind of like filtering out the item that we want from the ingredients for this machine. So the ingredients stop and stop here, but the item that we want continues on and gets into the buffer chest. The goal is to get it into the buffer chest. Once the buffer chest reaches a certain amount, this will then start backing up, and this is a little bit of a buffer on the backing up. Once we had, I mean, we could change this too. We could do like 1,000, but I'm not going to worry about it. 2,000 is fine. That's 2 full rows, because we're aiming for 2 full rows. So once it gets to 2 full rows, the bots will actually just start removing the excess. And in my experience, we did have this happen on Fulgora with some of the inserters specifically. We had some, I think the red inserters. No, the the blue, the fast inserters, were actually, when we were in the rare phase, we had we had 20 full stacks in the buffer, we had 20 full stacks in the requester, and they had actually started pulling out extra fast inserters and dumping them into our kind of common storage area. And that's how we managed that, was this section here. Okay, so moving along. Let's make sure that this was actually set up right this time. And we are going... I'm not going to worry about that. We'll deal with that later. Okay, so one more time, we're going to copy this. Haha. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, this one is epic. Do I want... Yeah, you know what? Let's just do it. And then I can remove everything that I don't want to keep. Okay, that is all right. This is unnecessary. This is unnecessary. This is unnecessary. This needs to be filtered for legendary parameter 0. And these two don't need filters because this is doing the filtering, and this is, well, nothing can come out of this except for the legendary machine. Okay, so this was right, this was right, this was right. Some of these were wrong, that's okay. Easy fix. And we definitely want to make sure that we get these right. Blue, so this one needs to be epic. And this one is legendary. So anything legendary goes to the top, anything rare goes to the bottom. That is right. That is right. That is wrong. Okay, so I think that is really close to us being done. So now we just need to, we need to set this up in a way that is like, we don't want to just bank all of this. So if you've seen me do this before, I am doing it a little bit different this time. So I'm going to connect one belt to this inserter. And the reason why is because we're going to daisy chain all these together. So I'm just going to go ahead and daisy chain them. I'm not going to be able to reach here, so I need a power pole. And I'm connecting the inserter to the buffer, buffer to the next inserter, inserter to the buffer, buffer to the next inserter. And in the case of this last buffer, we're just going to connect all the way over to the passive provider. We want to be able to detect everything in this. And then we are also going to connect the inserter for the epic. We're going to connect those together. And the inserters for the rare, we're going to connect those to the buffer chest that they are kind of responsible for. The green doesn't matter, the uncommon doesn't matter. So why are we doing this? We want to enable this if parameter 0 in legendary is less than 20 stacks. That's 2,000. Why? Because if we have 20 stacks of something legendary, we probably have plenty. We don't really need any more, and we can just turn this off and stop wasting ingredients, and this will cause all of this to intentionally back up. The way that you would, allow this to start back up is, well, just start using the legendaries that you have, and then it'll just kind of open up on its own, right? So as for these, and again, don't forget, we're basing this off of one stack. 100 is our stack size. So this first inserter for the rare quality, we are going to enable if anything is greater than, let's just do greater than, no, let's just do greater than 100, which is a stack size. So that means that this will be allowed, if there's nothing else in the line, this one will be allowed to build up to 100 before this starts dumping anything out to the recyclers. So for the next one, the green quality, we're gonna increase this to be a little bit more. So we're gonna enable if anything is greater than, we're gonna do 10% more. We're gonna do 20% more. So this will be allowed to get up to 120, and this one, the normal quality, can't go past 100, so the normal quality will never allow the uncommon quality to dump out, but the uncommon quality, as it builds up, will allow the common, yes, that's common and uncommon. Anyways, the gray quality, the green quality will allow the gray quality to dump out. And we're gonna have something similar for the blue, but for the blue, we stay in this phase quite a bit longer. And now, to be fair, we have cryogenic plants. Like, obviously by this point, you've probably unlocked epic, you've probably started to, or come close to unlocking legendary, so this is a non-issue, but it is just kind of getting to the point of how this upcycler system works. We're gonna enable this one, if anything, enable if anything is greater than 3 stacks. So we're going to do 300. And additionally, this one will not be allowed to go. We're going to connect to the logistics network, and we're going to tell this that if parameter 0, if the epic quality of parameter 0 is greater than, let's do 2 stacks, 200. So this is an AND condition. So we need for anything to be over 300, and we need for the epic to be greater than 200 before this inserter is allowed to open up. So that means that if we had 200 of this will still retain 300. And if we had 300 of this will dump everything. And to kind of help make sure that we can actually collect more than the 300, we are going to take these 2 inserters that are responsible for filling up this chest, and we're going to enable if the rare quality is less than 2,000. 20 stacks. These guys are going to allow 20 stacks into this before they start saying, you know what, we're not going to send any more. And one thing that I just noticed is that these inserters do need to be filtered for the parameter 0. Thankfully, I caught that. That would have been really bad. And that one is filtered. Okay, so where were we? We enabled this for 2,000. We need to enable this one for 2,000. Enable if rare quality parameter 0 is less than 2,000. And we're going to do the same thing for the epic version. And okay, so we got this set up. So the epic version here, that is going to allow the epic to dump. We're basically just going to do the same thing. If anything is greater than 300, which is 3 stacks, Enable if anything is greater than 300, but we also want it to enable if the legendary version of parameter 0 is greater than, probably about the same, 2 stacks. Legendary. Okay, and I think that does it for the build. Now it is time to parameterize this. So the way that I've parameterized this in the past is just to kind of set like a range value based on the ingredient count, but we're going to be doing it a little bit different this time, and we're going to be doing it based on crafting time. Now the crafting time, or the basis for the crafting time, is purely based off of what it says when you look at your inventory. So for instance, if I were to look at the cryogenic plant, this has a craft time of 10 seconds. And that would be the case if we had a craft time of 1. But these cryogenic plants have a craft speed. Okay, we actually got the quality in there, but whatever. Under normal circumstances, they have a craft speed of 2. So we would need to kind of consider that if, like, into our calculations. It really, like, that's really up to you. Like, a foundry has a craft speed of, like, what, 4? Or the epic version, sorry, has a craft speed of 7.6. So if you were to try to do like 15 seconds worth of something, it's actually only going to be like 2 seconds worth of something, because it's just going to eat through your materials so fast. So while we're doing the based on time, we do need to be aware that the crafting time matters. And this crafting time is purely based off what the base recipe is. Has nothing to do with the craft time of the machine, of modules that are added, of beacons that are added. So that all needs to be considered. And I would say in general, if you're parameterizing something with increased speed, so in this case, if we were to make these rare instead of normal quality, the crafting speed would jump up quite a bit. We would want to consider that maybe in our parameters. So I'm going to take a blueprint of this. Hopefully I got everything. I'm going to create blueprint and stick that in here so that we can start to parameterize this. Okay, so for parameterizing, obviously things are going to be very similar to what we've had in the past. It's not going to be lined up as nice and neat, but that's okay, because anything that basically has a 1, 1, it's going to go with the 1s. Anything with a 2 is going to go with the 2. And yeah, so we're just going to fill this up real quick. Everything else is pretty much a parameter of 0. We're going to ask what item, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are ingredients of parameter 0, so we need to make sure to indicate that. Now, the section with the parameter 0 is going to be pretty easy. These are all going to be based off of P underscore P the number, or P the parameter underscore S for stack size. So this is P0 underscore S times 20 for 20 stacks. This one is simple. This is P0 underscore S, a single stack. P0 underscore S times 1 point, what do we say, 20? 1.2 to get us 20% extra. Just a little bit of a buffer range to make sure that the lower quality can leave earlier. P0 underscore S times 3. P0 underscore S times 2. And I'm not hitting, trying my hardest not to hit enter. Okay, so as for the rest of these, now, like I said, we want this to be based on craft time. So we're going to say, let's say that we wanted like 30 seconds of craft time. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the ingredient P0 underscore I1, which gives us the ingredient number, divided by the craft time, which is P0 underscore T. Now, that doesn't show up in this list. It used to. I don't know why it's not here, but I promise that it works. And then we are going to multiply all of that times 30. So the ingredients divided by the craft time gets us how many items per second that we want, and then times however many seconds that we want. And in this particular case, I'm going to use 2. I'm going to multiply that times 2 to indicate the craft time of the machine. Yes, it says 1.2 with the quality modules in there, but I'm just going to call it 2 and, call it a day. This will also help whenever we upgrade the machines later. So I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to copy and paste it into the first sections. Now we need to go through and change the I1 to I2 for the second ingredient, third ingredient, 4, and 5. As for the second line, we're also going to paste this in. But instead of doing 30 seconds, we're just going to give this a range, let's say 60. And I need to change the ingredients on all of those as well. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I do believe that's everything. So 2000 is 20 stacks, 100 is 1 stack, 1 stack times 1.2, 1 stack times 3, 1 stack times 2. This is ingredient divided by crafting time times the amount of time that we want and times the crafting speed of the machine. Okay, so I think we are good. And save, and let's see if this worked. So let's say that we were upcycling cryogenic plants. Let's just take a look and see how that's going to work. So if we go into the machine, we can see that we need, let's say, 20 processing units divided by the crafting time of 10. So that would be 2 items, 2 processing units per second normally. And then times 30. So 20 divided by 10 is 2 times 30 would get us to 60 times 2 would get us to 120. So our range is probably going to be 120 to 240. Why did you not? Oh, did I not set that up? Ugh. Go me. Did not set the initial requesting chest up. That's fine. That is easy enough. We can take our existing blueprint and update the blueprint. And most of our formulas should stay the same. Ooh, did it? Wow, it all stayed in the same locations too. Sick. And okay, so we're gonna save that and try again. There we go. That's way better. So this is 20 stacks. This will turn off at 20 stacks. Perfect. Requesting in a stack of that. Oh, I know something else we didn't do. This bit me in the butt last time. These have to be filtered for rarity. So the rarity that we want to go into the chest. Whew, glad I caught that one. Alright, one last time. Everything still looks good. Now, I should just be able to paste this right over. Alright, and that is our upcycler. Okay, let's see how this is doing. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's, yeah, let's maybe limit the amount that we have coming into this one. Eight is fine for now. We will need more, but for now this is fine. And we're just being held up on quantum processors. What's going on here, guys? Lithium plate. Oh, I might have messed something up when I was redoing all of these, yeah. I bet I messed something up. Whenever I was straightening all my belts out to try to get them a little bit more lined up, and that kind of, you know, that happened. So we're not creating very much of anything on this planet, but once we get the power going, we can start to scale up everything. So yeah, that'll be quite helpful for later. Okay, so that is going to be it for me for this episode. In the next episode, we are going to get this power going. We are going to have to give this some fluoroketone, some cold fluoroketone, and we have some over here. We're not going to pipe it all the way over there. We're actually going to take barrels and move them over there. So we're going to do that. We are also going to make a few things around the base. Once we get the power going, we can tear a lot of this stuff down in the middle because this is kind of in our way. I want to be able to do bot mall stuff, upcyclers. Just this is kind of like our bot area. We don't want the bots going too far out. Anything that we kind of maybe want to have, we should possibly try to bring it backwards and collect it like we did here with the quantum processors and the science. If not, it is what it is. Anyways, we are very, very close to beating the game, so we don't have too much more. I'm not, let's get some of this queued up actually. Oh, I didn't even get legendary going. So we don't really need anything else to beat the game. We need the railguns. And once we get to the point where we can make the railguns, we pretty much have everything that we need to beat the game. We don't need, well, we could use the extra damage and speed with the railguns, which does require the science from this planet. But like I said, once you get to the point where you can make the railgun, you're pretty much good to beat the game. So I don't know how deep of a dive we're going to get into with some of the rest of this. We probably only have a few episodes left. I will have plenty of more content after that. Oh my gosh, this is funny. We left this here and it's still at 52. Yep, see? Here we go. Yeah, so we are very close to beating the game. So in the next episode, we are, like I said, we're gonna get this going. We're gonna hopefully clear out the middle. We might expand some of this a little bit. We'll see. But we definitely need to get some railguns going. And maybe even start to upcycle some stuff. Alright. I will see you in the next episode, and thanks for watching.